The death of a child in foster care highlights a big problem facing the system across Tennessee right now. 2-year-old Vincent Carter died while in state custody. We've been digging for information as to how and why this happened. Today, we found an audit that reveals the people in charge of protecting children like Carter are strained. Lawmakers tell us Sabrina Majore DCS workers are facing high caseloads, and it's putting kids at risk. Sabrina shows us how the work being done to change this is working.
Recent survey results show some DCS workers say they were emotionally exhausted in the months before Vincent Carter's death, with caseloads piling up and turnover rates climbing. Now, one lawmaker is introducing legislation to hopefully change some of this.
We need a caseload cap, and the expectations are not achievable. These are words coming from the Department of Children's Services case managers in our region, just 6 months before 2-year-old Vincent Carter died in foster care custody.
The DCS workers are doing everything they can to meet the requirements for their caseloads, but they are given impossible caseloads.
An audit of the department explains that caseworkers here are responsible for investigating allegations of child abuse and neglect and administering the state's foster care system. But overwhelming caseloads may be causing problems.
They're not getting it done, and kids are falling through the cracks.
The state audit explains that on average, workers are expected to manage 20 foster care cases. But the reality is that number is often much higher, with some caseworkers managing as many as 40 cases at various times in 2019.
There are great concerns that people aren't able to get their eyes on or hands on with these kiddos when they need to.
The state says they're working to address the issue.
We're doing everything we can with respect to recruitment as well. And one other thing that we're looking at is to hire vetted retirees.
Now, in the aftermath of Vincent Carter's death,
I don't want anybody else's kids going through what I went through with mine.
Lawmakers looking to make what could be life-saving changes.
We should be able to have staffing in the foster care system in such a way that something of this nature would be minimized or never happen again.
One proposal capping the number of cases an individual worker could handle.
And I ask that the general public call in and ask their representatives to support legislation that puts a cap on caseloads so that our DCS workers can get back to the good work of really helping and doing a good job with our kids.
As you sit down to your Thanksgiving dinner next week, maybe take a moment and think about this picture. This was Thanksgiving 1990, just before Terry Tisdale's life changed forever.
It totally reshaped me. I was no longer a young man within a matter of minutes. I was an old man.
A few weeks before Desert Storm started, he was in a foxhole near enemy lines.
My platoon when I was in Iraq.
He was still there when the air war began.
The ground was shaking and my foxhole started caving in. It was like I was sitting in a tomb.
He was 19. The war didn't last long, but the damage was done. He says a few years later, he was a single father raising 3 kids alone.
I wanted them to be proud of me, but I wasn't proud of myself and the things I had done when I was in the military.
I asked him what he meant. This is all he could stand to tell me.
I remember the mission down Tapline Road, burned out bodies, people. God, can you pause it right quick?
Yeah.
Can you pause it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He went from being a strong infantry soldier to 6 years later living on the streets.
Eating out of garbage cans, sleeping up under a bridge, just walking around like a zombie.
He was just trying to survive in downtown Chattanooga.
Started drinking verse. Next thing you know, end up transitioning over to crack cocaine. And that took me down to losing pretty much everything.
That was years ago. Now, he has housing and a job at the VA. He credits the compensated work therapy program at the VA for helping him get on track. He says the program and counselors like Bobby J. Smith saved his life.
Being able to have people believe in you when you don't even believe in yourself. You know, everybody needs that. Everybody needs someone to sit there and go, I believe in you. You know, I'm going to stick by you and I'm going to walk with you through this.
The CWT program helps veterans find work and provides counseling as well as other resources. Terry also credits his family and his faith.
He never said he would take you out of the fire. He said you'll just be refined by the fire.
Government perks for companies are a common way to bring new business to town.
But some government accountability advocates say there isn't enough of that accountability to make sure those businesses are living up to their end of the bargain. Good evening, I'm Latricia Thomas.
And I'm Josh Rowe. News Channel 9's Eric Price looks into one Chattanooga company's perks and what they have to do to make sure they earn them.
Steam Logistics behind me is getting a lot of government perks for building and creating jobs right here in Chattanooga. Now, but some advocates for government accountability say that these requirements to make sure that they're living up to those agreements are often weak.
Should they be more transparent? I think there's probably improvement that could be made there.
When it comes to government giving out company tax breaks, County Commissioner Tim Boyd says he often doesn't see documentation.
I don't think the state really gets out in front to say, hey, we've given XYZ company a training grant.
Steam Logistics was just offered a $150,000 grant from the State Department of Economic and Community Development for training. So I asked, what criteria do they have to report to the state? Here's what they told me.
There's reporting requirements, and the grant is released to us incrementally as we meet those requirements.
Both the city of Chattanooga and Hamilton County are offering the same company tax breaks. Deborah Fisher, executive director of TCOG, says her main issue with those perks is transparency and if taxpayers can tell what they're getting for their money.
Their money is paying for these grants and incentives.
For Boyd, accountability regarding these perks doesn't just lie with the state, county, and city. He says companies need to be held responsible as well.
The company needs to be totally accountable. They need to be accountable to meet their metrics, and if they don't meet their metrics, we need to get the property taxes back.
Helen Burns-Sharp has been fighting for transparency in these agreements for years. She says in the last 6 months, the city of Chattanooga has made strides.
Mayor Kelly's administration is having his staff provide written staff reports to the council.
The county commission voted today to give Steam a tax break. In their resolution, it says that if Steam doesn't meet their job requirements, the county can but isn't required to increase the amount of taxes the company has to pay.